lights are out and you stumble in the dark. You kept pushing on, but then you went too far. When your ship has sailed and all your dreams are lost, everything is wrong, you feel like it's your fault. Just remember, I will be there for you, baby. Remember, there's nothing out there to get you, don't forget it. When life throws lemons, just call on me. Just call on me. Just call on me. Just call on me. You're stronger now than you ever been. You gotta leave now, it's time to catch the wind. You will climb up high and look through the clouds, and when you're feeling low, I know you'll bounce back. Oh, and just remember, I will be there for you, baby. Remember, there's nothing out there to get you, don't forget it. When life throws lemons, just call on me. Just call on me. Just call on me. Just call on me.
Wait.
Ladies and gentlemen, welcome to a thrilling night of virtual racing action here on iRacing. I'm Dave Regal alongside my partner in crime, Mr. Alan Bergen, here in the Tony Trapasso Memorial Broadcast booth, and we're excited to bring you all the live coverage from the legendary Indianapolis Motor Speedway. Tonight, the Racers Elite Cup Series promises to be a showcase of skill, strategy, and sheer speed as some of the best sim racers from around the world go head-to-head in this highly competitive environment. The drivers have put in countless hours of practice perfecting every turn and mastering the art of virtual racing. The track is digitally rendered to perfection, capturing every bump, curve, turn, and straightaway, setting the stage for what promises to be an electrifying race. We'll be bringing you all the action from start to finish, including expert analysis, driver interviews, and in-depth commentary on the strategies at play. From daring overtakes to split-second decisions, every moment counts, and we'll be here to guide you through it all, from the green flag to the checkered flag, right here on Sim Racing Media. And Alan, here we are at the fabled Indianapolis Motor Speedway. Of course, one of the most historic places in all of motorsports. It's not just stock car racing. Of course, Indy always known for more so the open wheel, but here we are tonight looking down on this beautiful racetrack.
Yeah, I'm happy to be here. You know, a little last minute situation going on, but here we are. And well, hey, I couldn't think of anybody better to hang out with than my buddy Dave.
Yeah, trust me, when I realized that you were coming in tonight, I got excited because you and I have started to really spend a lot of time together, and I think that this is a lot of fun for the two of us as we get ready to rock and roll here at IMS. And I'll tell you what, these drivers in this league are just this side of the most exciting on NASCAR, on iRacing and eNASCAR. Of course, we had the off week back on July 4th, and here we are now in the Cup Series, with Matt Schlosser being our last race winner back at Pocono. I've spent a lot of days at Pocono. I'm glad to get here to Indy.
Yeah, and you know, Indy's going to be fun. I did run a few laps out there tonight, so that's why I'm having an out-of-body experience. Wow, yeah. So this track was dated back all the way to the 1900s. You know, IndyCar got his start here, and you know, it's a lot of fun. You know, IndyCars are blessed to race here. You know, they had the Racers Elite Special Event Indy 500, and well, that was a race that did this point. But I love it when NASCAR gets to go here, and then on a weekend like this too, Dave. They do an IndyCar and NASCAR weekend combined, so that's always fun to watch too.
Yeah, and as we come into tonight's race, Alex Teft sitting atop the point standings after finishing 9th at Pocono. He's already got himself a P2 finish at Texas Motor Speedway, so these larger tracks, it seems like, are becoming his bread and butter after his 3 starts this season. These drivers have gotten themselves cranked up all the way to crazy, and I mean, you know, Teft hopped up 2 positions to take the lead in points, dethroning Dennis Kane for the time being, and Matt Schlosser, after bringing home the win at Pocono, he hops up 6 positions and now runs in P3. Shea Cox in 18th and Chris Blasi in 23rd. There are big movers from last week in the up direction, while Bryce Hunter drops all the way down here to 34th in points after you know, missing a couple of starts here. And I mean, you know, Bryce Hunter goes from 24th to 34th now, and he's only got 1 start on the season, and that was at Texas Motor Speedway where he qualified 3rd, finished 11th, and you know, quite frankly, I'm curious to see what he does tonight here at IMS, as Indianapolis Motor Speedway is the kind of place where you can really make a name for yourself. As we take a look here from Bryce Hunter, as he finishes up his qualifying effort like he did at Texas, he's on the inside of row number 2 tonight.
Yeah, so, you know, these guys are going to be, like you said, cranked up to crazy, and I cannot wait to get this party started here from Indianapolis.
Right now, Isaiah Sutherland sits P1, and of course, here we go as qualifying is now wrapping up. Drivers getting ready to hop in their racing machines. What a beautiful racetrack here in Indianapolis. I mean, just outside the city proper, and I'll tell you what, an amazing area for an amazing racetrack as we wait for Isaiah Sutherland to hop in the old race car here in the 42. We're taking a look right now at Eric Jensen in the double deuce. Bryce Hunter in the 29. He's hopping in as well. I mean, a lot of these drivers, as we look at them, they've got some really cool paint schemes for our return here to the Indianapolis Oval.
Well, I got one that I ran that I made up on the fly. And look, Dave, I think I outdid myself with the Waffle House car. Because on the back deck lid it says I brake for turtles.
Seems about accurate. Well, listen, we'll take a look at some of these race paints here, as Isaiah Sutherland going to be on the pole position alongside Eric Jensen. Bryce Hunter sits on the inside of row number 2, joined by Brendan Wilcox. Curtis Ecker has the 19 Coca-Cola machine in row number 3 alongside of the faster pastor Stoney Benfield in the NC811.org Ford Mustang. Matt Schlosser has the 400 in row number 4 alongside Dennis Kane in the Zupin Crane LLC machine, as Diego Rodriguez, and you and I listen, we'll talk about him in a little bit, but Diego Rodriguez definitely has my attention, as this is the first time I've seen him without Spirit on the side of the car, and hopefully he can translate that here. We'll get into that story a little bit later tonight, folks, as rounding out your starting top 10 is Lee Campbell from Ballston Spa, New York. Brandon Zimmerman starts on the inside of row number 6 and is going to be joined by Troy Thomas, as Andrew Teft and Truth Hoke going to hold things down in row number 7. Seth Horsley and William Skinner going to sit in row number 8, while row 9 is going to be anchored by Kirby Wainscott and Paul Shaw. Alex Teft, our points leader, starts in row number 10 alongside of Brandon Honeycutt, while Devin Schwartz, may the Schwartz be with you, going to sit on the inside of row number 11 alongside Zach Lockett. Row 12 going to feature Marshall Harris and James Malloy, with Aaron Marquis and Brandon Sanfilippo in row 13. While starting shotgun on the field, starting in the rear tonight, is going to be Kensley Smith in the Napa Auto Parts Chevrolet Camaro. And 27 drivers scheduled to take the green flag tonight as we get ready to rock and roll here. 80 laps the scheduled distance. And Alan, I can't wait to see what happens next.
Yeah, on the same here. As these guys, well, like you said, cranked up to crazy.
Isaiah Sutherland following the iRacing.com pace car, as he and Eric Jensen going to control this field. The pace car has its lights out, which means that we will be going green flag racing this time by, as of course we go past the grandstand here. And this is one of the more unique racetracks as we take one more look here up above the racetrack in our static blimp cam. You know, you can see here in turns 1 and 2 that there are, you know, basically bleachers everywhere the eye can see. And as we look here, again, this place has a huge capacity for a stock car racing track as we head on down the back chute.
Yeah, you know, this place is so big, Dave. They actually put a dirt track in the infield, and they run the BC 39.
There's portions of a golf course in here, man. That almost puts the lake in the middle of Daytona to shame. But all of these people here in the stands, all of you folks at home, this is the moment that we've been waiting for. The drivers are ready. I know those of us here in the broadcast booth are ready. Julia and Rowan in the YouTube.com live chat are ready. The only thing that's left to do as the iRacing.com pace car brings us into the 3-4 complex is it's time to wipe the visor and adjust the 5-point harness. Grandma, grab some popcorn, call a friend, and settle in. Race fans, it's showtime! The pace car is off. The drivers have control, and it's all in their hands now as Isaiah Sutherland drops the hammer, and here we go.
Yeah, what a start that these guys have gotten off into turn number 1.
Riding along right here with Bryce Hunter out of Kansas City, Missouri. As we get underway, everybody's going to be double file. Here comes the faster pastor, Stoney Benfield, making his first entrance on the high side. Looks like he wants to try to keep things a little cool here for the tires early on in this race. 80 laps of scheduled distance, and all of a sudden, whoa! Pandemonium in the ring, and Aaron Marquis has just wrecked heavy. And somehow we don't wind up under caution as he immediately there it is. As he immediately toes off pit road or off to pit road. Let's see what happened here with Aaron. Here they come. Watch the 41. And Aaron on cold tires, the rear end just shoots out on him.
What a ride he went for.
I'll tell you what, if he's not dizzy, I want him to be my designated driver. Could not get the 41 moving again as we look again from up above, just behind the 21. Or is that would be the 12 in San Filippo? Yeah, it almost looks like he just got loose. The front end stepped away on him, and fortunately it was just him involved in this. But not even one lap in tonight, and we're under caution here at Indianapolis Motor Speedway.
Yikes.
That's either going to be the last caution for a while or the first of many. Your guess is as good as mine.
I'm going to go with none for a while. For 1,000, Alex?
I'm going to pray for one for quite a while. I mean, I just spent the last 3 days on the microphone at Pocono Raceway, and I mean, the league that I was calling, I mean, don't get me wrong, they're live here on Sim Racing Media, and it was very uncharacteristic of them to have so many cautions.
True.
Pocono has potential to give you green flag racing, but, toward the end, it's just a mess.
That was a fun race for the both of us. As well, at least, hey, look, I won't get any angry text messages tonight from being up here because I won't make you short circuit.
Hey, I get it. I've been following a story in local news from my hometown, and I just was a little distracted there, let me tell you. Sometimes I think the best part about iRacing is that we can put all kinds of things to the side and just watch racing.
I mean, yeah, that makes the world right for a while.
Yeah,
for an hour or 2 hours.
Sometimes you boot up the PC and all is right in the world.
Right. But hey, nonetheless, the 2025 St. Louis Cardinals MLB schedule came out today.
We haven't even finished bumping, rumbling, stumbling, fumbling through this year's schedule yet.
Oh, goodness.
Who's playing the International Series next year? That's what I want to know.
I have no idea.
I think we should take SRM International instead of going to Miami next year. Wherever we're going, we're going.
Well, if they make the, I would love to go. I don't get to go to Miami this year because I'm going to be married for 10 years. So my wife wants to, I'm recreating our honeymoon.
Sound great. 38 seconds of excitement and 4 days of explaining how sorry you are.
But nonetheless,
He's not
next
laughing
year,
heavily because he knows it's true.
next year, he's like, I will book the plane ticket myself.
Listen, the ticket's booked. Let's rock and roll. That's all I'm saying.
Hopefully, they don't move Miami out of the playoffs. Nonetheless, Isaiah Sutherland is leading the piece right here with Isaiah.
Have you never seen... There's literally a book in the Bible. Isaiah,
yes.
Isaiah Sutherland with command of the field. He's going to be on the inside line here. Eric Jensen in the double deuce sits to the outside. The iRacing.com pace car lights are off, which means this time by we'll be going back green flag racing. And I'll tell you what, I've never been to Indianapolis Motor Speedway, and I would love to be out here and experience what the fans did, time and time again for the last all but 100 years. And I think that this place is just something special, if you will. I think it's because NASCAR and really motorsports on the whole, but I think NASCAR, I've said this, NASCAR on the whole takes care of their history better than anyone else.
They do.
And I think coming here to Indianapolis Motor Speedway is more of a pilgrimage for fans of, motorsports.
It is. So so my uncle used to come here all the time, when it was on the oval. And last Thursday night, one broadcaster in the booth may or may not taken a little bit of a nap watching a dirt late model race.
I don't know who on earth that might have been.
I don't know. I said one of us.
Well,
if you know, you know.
It's somebody, but it's not old number one here.
Look, the point is, my uncle Rick could actually come to the race, fall asleep in the stands, and take a nap.
It was like perfect temperature. The sun was hitting me just right. I got sleepy. It was a long weekend, and to be fair, my liver was doing push-ups for 3 days. The iRacing.com pace car peels on down pit road. Isaiah Sutherland with control of the field hits the Geico restart zone, drops the hammer, and here we go. And I know I just saw it, and I can't wait to look at it. Take a look at this paint scheme. Suddenly, I'm 8 years old again. There's two 24s here, but only one of them matters. We'll get a little bit closer here. Take a look at 84. That's James Malloy here. The Rainbow Warrior rides again at Indianapolis Motor Speedway in the form of James Malloy this time. But Isaiah Sutherland just got a crazy jump over top of Brendan Wilcox here on lap number 5. As now all of a sudden he's out to 0.6 of a second lead, and then there's almost a full second between Wilcox and Bryce Hunter. Now, this is one of those racetracks where we will start to see some drafting, especially as we get later in the run, you know, cars starting to have to work together. I know when this current generation of Cup car was debuted, you know, there was a lot more drafting and things like that. And here we are at Indianapolis, and this raceway is going to start to generate some of that as we start to see a little bit of a pack forming here, while Isaiah Sutherland lays down fast time at 53.74 seconds.
I just saw the Indy snake coming down the front straightaway.
As it should be. Look at them all. It's beautiful. And I'll tell you what, when it's done properly, wow. Look at the 25 of Paul Shaw being pushed along here by the 15 of Kensley Smith. Now remember, Kensley started shotgun on the field tonight, and he's already up 10 spots in 17th position. As we come down here through turns 3 and 4 and back toward the front stretch, we see another battle starting to break out between Truth Hoke and Eric Jensen. Jensen, of course, qualified on the front row, and now he runs here back in 20 seconds. So plus 10 for Kensley Smith and minus 17 for Eric Jensen. Kind of an interesting timing there. But at the same time, Seth Horsley up here in the deuce just laid fast time down at 52.55.
Yeah, so, you know, they're in that number 2, the Valvoline car. We got a driver off the track in the back there, and I don't know exactly who it is.
Hope that just went off there. Let's see what happened with him.
Yikes.
Here's Truth Hoke in the 55. Watch the double nickel working just underneath here on the low side. And almost the same way as happened earlier with Aaron Marquis, the front end stepped out on him.
And he's going to do some landscaping. Talking to Truth earlier, he switched from Chevy to Toyota and hopes to turn his luck around. And I think he needs to switch back to Chevy, so.
Well, here we are now. Once again, Brandon Zimmerman lays fast time down at 52.49, so less than 52.5 seconds by 1/100th of a second. Isaiah Sutherland controlling the field here in the 42. He's working his way here on lap number 8. We're a 10th of the way through this race. We want to thank everybody for tuning in with us tonight on the YouTube.com live chat. Want to welcome in Rowan Lloyd and Julia as Julia is cheering on the 43. That's Alex Teft, of course, our points leader tonight. Alex Teft right now running in 12th position and looking kind of comfy here for the time being. It doesn't look like he's going to be pushing it too hard as we work down the front stretch. I mean, you know, he's got himself cranked up about 190 miles per hour getting ready to go into turn 1. And it seems like he's really able to roll the throttle. He's very graceful off and on that throttle pedal.
Yeah, and, you know, wow, what a drive that Alex is having, and, well, you know, he's never a pretty good run, and this is good. I'm glad I'm up here in the booth because I'll be on the track on Sunday and racing 160 laps here at the Yard of Brick.
Nine laps in the books. Isaiah Sutherland lays down the fast lap for the first time tonight. He goes 52.35. So these drivers are just coming up to temperature right now, and at this point, I think we're just kind of looking forward to what do we do next.
Hope there's a caution because right now Isaiah Sutherland is up to about a second and a half over Brendan Wilcox, and well, guess what? It's a second and a half.
Isaiah Sutherland now at 52.32 beats his own time by 0.03 of a second as he now leads Brendan Wilcox by 1.5 seconds and then some, nearly 1.6 seconds back to Matt Schlosser, as it's 3.14 seconds between third and first right now. Isaiah Sutherland out here cruising along, and the interesting thing is, we talked about, I hope that was the first caution for a long time, and so far it has been with 11 laps in the books. And a lot of these drivers, as we see with this current Cup car that we work with in NASCAR, a lot of single file racing. These cars do not do well when they're alone. They're slow, they're sluggish, but when they're, packed up like this, you can really make some speed. I mean, look right here at Brandon Zimmerman as we pull up the dashboard. 190 going down the backstretch and then some. I mean, that's nearly super speedway, as we go into 3 and 4.
Yeah, I'm sure that these guys did a lot of testing, and well, you go back and mention the points, and yours truly is below the cut line after tonight. So, but we'll make it up. Hey, we'll make it up. We're gonna make it up. We're gonna have good runs, and I get to play absent from Darlington next week. So, not my best track, and I'm glad I'm gonna be out of town for that one.
That's fair. I get it. Isaiah Sutherland just laid down a 52.24 second time as we rock and roll here. I mean, Sutherland has just been getting faster and faster. A lot of these drivers doing the same thing. I mean, right now, fast times for Kenzie Smith, James Malloy, and Andrew Teft as we look further back here in the field. As we go back to Malloy, take a look at this from above. Watch the 84 in that throwback Jeff Gordon paint scheme, of course, from right here at Indianapolis Motor Speedway, as he now leads Andrew Teft in the 98, of course, our chief cook and bottle washer here in this league. And Andrew Teft trying to find a way to maybe get around him. I mean, I know that it seems early, but while you're on that first set of tires, you might as well use what you got as he starts to get that draft off the back of the 84. He looks to the inside, coming into turn 1. Doesn't have the run just yet, but I think we're going to see him get it this time through as we head down the back chute after getting through turn 2.
Yeah, and look, Marshall Harris has set the fastest lap of the race so far with a 52.1.
Now you have to remember that some of that speed is also generated from drafting. If you've got yourself set up a little bit further back, you're going to be able to draft up, increase your speed, as now we see Andrew Teft pulling dead even here with the 84. They go door handle to door handle, coming back onto the front chute as we're in that transition between 3 and 4 and down here to the front chute. As they cross the start-finish line, it's going to be Andrew Teft over James Malloy, as for the time being, he's going to hold on to 15th position.
Oh, boy. Here's Diego Rodriguez making a... Well, he's going to lose a spot. That spot that he's going to lose is to Brandon Zimmerman in that 65 car. No Spirit Airlines on that number 20 tonight.
No Spirit Airlines. But I'll tell you what, in another league that Diego... Whoa! In the Sunday Night NASCAR Truck Series for the Tuesday Night Thunder Trucks, Diego Rodriguez, folks, wow, had his truck painted bright yellow with Spirit Airlines down the side and said, "Howdy, Dave Regal," on the truck bed. And if you're looking for a cheap way to get yourself some airtime here on screen, throw my name on the car and I will find it. The first time I saw that, I almost fell over. Almost went directly out of the channel. 15 laps in the books. We look back to Paul Shaw holding on to the 20th position right now, just ahead of Brandon Sanfilippo by about 0.3 of a second. He's trying to close in on Troy Thomas, as Thomas here in the number 8 skate has the Fanatec Chevrolet kind of nice and even here going down the back chute. I do not like that camera angle. Good Lord. And as we head down the back chute, it looks like he's going to start to gap Paul Shaw now by more than half a second as we hit 3/4 of a second and more. Paul Shaw may have some kind of a problem as he's starting to melt like a snow cone in Phoenix on lap 16.
A snow cone in Phoenix. But these guys are coming back down the front straightaway. Paul Shaw, look, these guys are just kind of chilling in line, kind of feeling these cars out. And a lot of these guys are testing for Sunday morning and or Saturday night. But you know, I gotta say this, Dave. Next Sunday, since I'm going to be out of town and I like Talladega, I'm going to be turning over my number 89 car to Shane Lake, as he's going to be racing Talladega for me in the iRacing Elite Special Event Series.
Hey, that's exciting. I mean, look, if you're going to have somebody do it, it might as well be somebody good.
I told him, I said, you got one rule: checkers or wreckers.
Yeah, great. The last person I need to hear go full send is you. Whoa! A rub of the wall here out of the 25 of Paul Shaw. My goodness. As just one driver down a lap, and that's Aaron Marquis, who's now trying to fight his way up here. He's the only car down a lap. So what that's going to do is put him in the control seat for, to be the lucky dog. The question's going to be whether or not he can hold on to that for the time being. And right now, Isaiah Sutherland is gapping him by 20 seconds. So I think for the time being, he's safe. But if I was him, I'd be holding on for dear life, not coming into pit road until Sutherland comes in.
Yep. Exactly right. Hang on to her and hope for the best. Either that or hope for a caution, which I don't think will happen.
Seth Horsley running the deuce in P11 right now as he leads Alex Teft, our points leader, by about 1.3 seconds. Gaps are starting to grow here as drivers are getting themselves nice and settled in here to their positions. And I mean, quite frankly, this is what will cause green flag racing to run heavy, as Kendra Wisdom says, go Isaiah, number 42. And here he is leading this piece right now at Indianapolis Motor Speedway, and he is all by his lonesome up here, almost in his own zip code, as he leads now by 3 seconds over top of Brendan Wilcox.
Yeah, number 42. I like that Sutherland used cars. Are they slightly used, heavily used?
Wonder if you know Sam Beauregard's. With Sam B, it's a guarantee.
Nice. Working lap 19 and
Finest used car salesman in Milwaukee. You know who else was a used car salesman, or who was a car salesman in Milwaukee? Alan
No.
Bud Seelig, former commissioner of Major League Baseball. His dad was a car dealer in Milwaukee.
I did not know that.
Read the biography.
Will do.
That's a good, if you and a wife are doing some traveling in October, that's a good book to get that, get downloaded onto your iPad or tablet, or get the actual book. But why would you want to when you can keep it in your tablet or electronic device? But that's a great book to check out, written by Doris Kearns Goodwin, called For the Love of the Game. It's a biography of Bud Selig, who really, guided baseball through some of the hardest times in our history. And, of course, made strides during the steroid era. It was a whole thing. But listen, great book. But speaking of great, right now, a battle brewing here between Kensley Smith and Bill Skinner here in the 9 machine. Now, right now, Skinner starting to fade back a little bit behind Smith as we go on board of the Mountain Dew. I forget what that's called, Midnight Black something or other. But here we are, first caution of the night. Kirby Wainscott having registered his crash. Let's see what happened with Kirby. Oh, as that may be a finger-licking nasty wreck here. Let's see what this is all about. Here comes Kirby in the number 10 KFC Chevrolet Camaro. Oh, it started with the 8. Oh, that's bad. It started with Troy Thomas right here from Boone, North Carolina. Let's see what the deal is here now. He kind of rubbed the wall. I don't know what happened. We're going to run this back, and we're going to see. We're going to run this back and see what might have happened. Because it looks like Troy Thomas just... Oh, this starts a lot further back than we all thought it did, that's for sure. As we're going to watch the 41 here, just behind the 8 of Troy Thomas. Down the back chute and into turn 3. Here comes Thomas underneath, or I'm sorry, Marquis underneath. Tags the left quarter panel of Thomas. He gets himself loose. He said, I got it, I got it, I got it. And then he don't got it. He got into the wall, and it was like a slow burn. And you can almost see that he must have broken the tow link because he's now trying to get the car righted. Oh! He was trying to get the car righted when bad things really happen with Kirby Wainscott. And Wainscott, here it comes, has to be angrier than a Keebler elf getting demoted to Fudge Packer. Here we are looking at it from Wainscott's perspective. He can see Thomas, and he stayed high because he thought Thomas was going to stay low, and that's not what happened at all.
When he zigs, he zags.
We're going to look at this again and slow things down. And here's the decision time. All of a sudden, Thomas starts hooking right, and we can see that right front wheel, and boom goes the proverbial dynamite. Let's see if maybe we can see that from the gyro cam in Troy Thomas's car. So now I have to go back and back and back. Here we go.
And, does anybody know the number of a good chiropractor? Because Troy Thomas may need it.
Lord. Call the doctor, that's for sure. So that's going to cycle Brendan Wilcox up to the lead here in the 26 car. Schlosser and Isaiah Sutherland trail him 2 and 3. Stoney Benfield runs in P4. Brandon Zimmer running in the top 5. Diego Rodriguez, Bryce Hunter, Marshall Harris, Dennis Kane, and Seth Horsley make out your top 10. Let's see if we can get a hold of Brendan Wilcox real quick here. Let's see who's available. San Filippo, and of course I'm not going to find Wilcox. There he is in Goomba Racing. Hey Brendan, it's Dave and Alan up in the broadcast booth. You got a copy?
Yeah, what's going on?
Hey man, listen, you lead this race, you come off a pit road and win the battle there. What's going to be your strategy now that you're about a quarter of the way through this piece?
I think saving tires. I think towards the end of that run started to get kind of tight. I think tires are going to play a big role in this race here.
Yeah, I mean, during qualifying, we had track temperatures of about 105 degrees. Right now, as we look down at the racing surface, we're at 103. I mean, the racetrack tightened up for a little bit, but now it's starting to loosen itself back up. Obviously, cloud cover becoming a factor. In these fixed setups, how do you find yourself, making the adjustments? As obviously, this is all on the driver.
Well, I think an important part is just finding what line works for you, what makes you the most comfortable in the car. Seeing we can't change anything with the setup, I think just being comfortable in what you're driving is really important. Yeah, I hope so. Thanks, guys.
Thank you for tuning in tonight here on iRacing.com. Over on the Sim Racing Media YouTube channel. Of course, we've crested that 4,000 mark. Rowan Lloyd, Julia, and Kendra Wisdom all here in the live chat. Glad to have you folks with us tonight. Let us know, folks, who you're pulling for, what you'd like to see here. And if you haven't, make sure that you subscribe and turn on those bell notifications so that you can be notified every time we go live. As right now, We've got 6 nights of racing here on SRM, and I think that's the busiest we've ever been.
Yeah. 6 nights of racing, and we got a ton of special events coming up that you want to tune into, and especially on Saturday evening and Sunday morning with the Brickyard 200 on Saturday evening, and then Saturday morning, well, we go 400 miles here at the Art of Bricks. What'd you do? That was crazy.
Brendan Wilcox hits the Geico restart zone. Barney waves the green flag, and we're back underway.
Oh, Dave Regal.
What would you do without me? I'm here to keep everybody entertained. Folks, what you couldn't hear off camera or off microphone, of course, the secret here is we pull back the curtain a little bit. Wow! Look at them searching for all kinds of air here on the racetrack. My God, the faster pastor, Stoney Benfield, now drafting just behind Isaiah Sutherland as he thinks that he's ready to hitch his wagon here to go to the promised land. Look at Stoney Benfield as now he works the inside of Isaiah Sutherland. If I was Stoney, I think I'd be trying to draft up behind him as we now have caution number 3.
Remember whenever I said that we wouldn't have very many cautions?
Yeah, that was a good time, Alan. It was a great time. It was a fun time.
That was a
We're
great
start
time.
back here with Kensley Smith in the 15. And Kensley Smith going to go off track, but why? And there it is, contact between the Deuce and the 43. Here goes Seth Horsley sideways, and there goes the 43 of Alex Teft collecting everybody else in the way. My God. There are parts of race cars just bouncing all over the virtual track.
Yikes.
Yeah, you can say that again now.
And the faster pastor is getting ready to lead someone to the front in the promised land.
Good Lord. What a flaming pile of mess.
Yes.
Here they come once again. There goes. They don't even make it over here. Let's see if we can get a hold of our camera operator. There it is. Our camera operator not able to get there fast enough, but let's see if we can find that once more. And maybe from turn 4's exit. And here they come. We can hear them. What a mess. It looks like a used car lot. There's a lot of front nose clips just floating around. Speaking of used cars, perhaps you folks want to check out Sutherland's used cars. Oops.
Green garden weed.
Perhaps you folks want to check out Sutherland's used cars. Might need to get a new one.
Perhaps.
Too big of a gulp.
Oh, don't do that.
I wasn't ready.
Okay, that's fair.
Brendan Wilcox, Matt Schlosser, Isaiah Sutherland, and Stoney Benfield, the top 4. Brandon Zimmerman going to round out your top 5. We just talked with Brendan Wilcox, and he was kind of talking about tire saving. Let's see if we can get a hold of Matt Schlosser, driver the number 400. Now this track, a lot like Pocono, where he last picked up his. Let's see where Schlosser is. Please be in the chat. Please be in the chat. Nope, just kidding. He's not there. Let's see if we can find the driver of the 75. Nope. Nope, there he is. The Redemption Motorsports. With us now, the faster pastor, driver the number 75, NC811.org Ford Mustang. Hey, Pastor, it's Dave up in the booth. You got me? Hey, Stoney, it's Dave up in the booth. You got me?
Yes, sir. How you doing, Dave?
I'm good. Listen, right now you're doing pretty well yourself, running in P4 right now. The Dark Horse Mustang cranked up to crazy. What's going to be the faster pastor keys to the race tonight?
Well, just keep hitting our marks and stay out of trouble and try to save these tires. And I believe we got a chance with these guys tonight, Dave. Got a great car. I got Nicholas Peak as a spotter and crew chief live, so that's helping me a lot. He's doing all my tires and fuel and everything, so I can just focus on driving. It makes a huge difference.
Yeah, believe me, I've seen that, many times over my career here in the booth and, of course, on the racetrack itself. And I'm always excited when I get to see you guys use spotters, the advantage that you get, because like you just said perfectly, it allows you to drive the car, get me there, get me, wherever I got to be.
That's right. That's right, man. Hey, I'm going to give a big shout out while you got me, if we can, right before we go to green. Again, Outlier Speed Company for great sets when I do the open races. NC811.org is our sponsor. But Dave, you know that my main sponsor is Jesus Christ himself, man. And I love the Lord and just thankful to have this opportunity.
Absolutely. Well, listen, Jesus Christ is absolutely the only reason that we should be here. And, I'm always glad when I get to cross paths with you or Tony Burt. I think that it speaks volumes when we can not just come together on a Sunday, but the other days of the week, because remember, you're a walking testimony.
That's right. We got a new logo for our church coming out, and I'm going to be putting it on all my cars here soon, so that'll be good too.
Listen, the next time I get near Albemarle, North Carolina, you're on my list.
I hope you'll come, Dave. I really do. Let me know. I'll take you out to dinner, okay?
Will you take a sinner to dinner?
Absolutely.
My man. All right, brother, good luck. Here we go, green.
Yes, sir.
That, of course, the voice of Stoney Benfield, the faster pastor, as we move him back on down into the Redemption Motorsports stable. I want to thank everybody for tuning in. And, of course, always make sure that you check out the Baptist church down there where Pastor Benfield preaches, as I know that he's one of our biggest. He usually brings along some of the biggest cheering sections here into the iRacing servers. Brendan Wilcox with the green flag underway as we get going.
All right, well, Brendan Wilcox still out front. Actually, he just now got out front, and for the first time tonight, someone by the name that isn't named Isaiah is leading this race. Here comes Matt Schlosser in that number 400 car on the inside, and it's become a 3-horse race. As we come down the front straightaway, here comes Tony Benfield, the faster passer. He's running towards, and there's that beautiful Indy snake that we were all talking about as they go inside to outside to make that in turn 1 complex. And we're working lap number 29 right now. Oh, we got to move for the lead.
All of a sudden, we're battling it out here for the lead as we widen things out to the iRacing.com blimp. The 26 of Brendan Wilcox being challenged now by Isaiah Sutherland here, as all of a sudden the 42 is now getting ready to be assaulted by Matt Schlosser. We're going to go on board with Schlosser from Frederick, Maryland, as he's going to follow Isaiah Sutherland to the promised land here, as he now slings it to the inside of Brendan Wilcox. Meanwhile, we're going to go on board here with Stoney Benfield. He's kind of backed off a little bit. He's going to allow the 21 of Marshall Harris on by. And I'll tell you what, man, I think if Stoney's going to be saving tires and all, this is the time to do it. Maybe let other people cook their stuff.
Well, right now, Marshall Harris is up here in that fourth position, up 19 spots. But it's not about where you start; it's about where you finish. And if Marshall Harris can put together a good run, then he's gonna look. He needs to put together a good run. He's a talented driver. As we're still on board with the faster passer Stoney Benfield. And you can just hear him shift the gears. And like he alluded to earlier, we are under a fourth caution of the evening.
Welcome to Caution Fest, Indianapolis.
Sorry.
This one's going to involve Aaron Marquis again, as he had trouble earlier on in this race. Here we go. Taking a look from the blimp. Watch Aaron Marquis in the 41. He gets hooked by the double nickel. That's Truth Hoke. And they get all tangled up. Oh! And the 14 of Lee Campbell just came in and finished the job. Let's ride along here with Lee Campbell from his nose and see what this is going to look like, because this was ugly. Folks, you'll have to forgive me for a little bit of quietness here. I just spilled a beverage into my keyboard. I had to make some quick changes here. Wow, look at Lee Campbell. He had no place to go. I think that's got to be the most frustrating thing. On the racetrack, you try to put yourself in the best position to be, successful. And then in an instant like that, everything can change for you, because, you're driving along, you're minding yours and leaving everybody else's alone. And then all of a sudden, you think that you got it, and no, you don't got it.
Yeah. For sure. And did you see Truth Hoke's back bumper?
No, but I'll look at it now. Is there a back bumper? Is that what you're saying?
There is.
Take a look here from the chopper cam. Elderly driver. Thank you to our chopper operator, as Truth Hope decided that he's an elderly. Usually in NASCAR, the slower drivers are the rookies and they're marked by that yellow bumper, but he's decided to give an elderly driver tip of the cap. And I'll tell you this. I feel like in Florida, they should all have that.
I mean, Florida is the retirement home of the U.S.
It's just heaven's waiting room.
We'll go with that. I gotta know something, Dave.
What's that?
I gotta know something.
Go ahead.
Is there gonna be maybe an AB product drink on Sunday night?
On Sunday night, yes. There will
Are you
be
gonna
an
take
AB product on the desk, and we will do that live. I may even try to get the camera working for OBS. The problem is that it messes with my microphone. But I will make sure that we have an AB product in the house on Sunday. And when I crack that bad boy open, I'm also going to keep a trash can next to me. Folks, what we're talking about, of course, is when we reached 4,000 subscribers, the deal was we reached 4,000 subscribers. I, from the hills of Pennsylvania, will drink an Anheuser-Busch product of my particular choosing, and my partner here, Alan Bergen, would then, because he's from St. Louis, drink a Yuengling beer product. Now, the one who really makes out on that deal is Alan, because what I did was I brought him to the beer altar. And he came to Jesus that night and saw the flight. Get it? I saw the flight as he took his first sip of Yuengling Flight. I, on the other hand, will be drinking something of the Budweiser persuasion. And you know what? I probably will drink like a Budweiser or maybe a Bud Light.
I would go Bud Select.
I'm really just trying to get this over with. And, of course, the other thing is August 25th, yours truly will be crawling back into the cockpit for the first time in what will be over a year in competitive racing. And I will be one of the featured drivers in the Coke 0400 on Sunday Night NASCAR right here on Sim Racing Media. Alan Bergen and I are going to switch positions, as I will be on the racetrack. He will be in the broadcast booth alongside Matt Metler. And I will be your in-race reporter for the evening. And probably also shouting obscenities the entire time.
We're going to do something huge for that one.
I am something huge. big dude.
Hey, look, there may or may not be an in-car camera.
I'm game.
We're gonna work it out. We're gonna work it out.
I'm still sitting here trying to figure out what I'm going to do as far as, you know, a racing. I mean, I've got the racing rig. It's assembled and it's ready to go. I just have to, you know, figure out what to do with it and how I'm going to work this out. Because I'm not going to do this from the desk chair. I'm going to do this from the rig. I've got to do some construction here in the old living room.
Nonetheless, the field is assembled behind the iRacing.com pace car, Noah's Ark style, 2x2, as they come down that long back straightaway. And this is one of the few tracks that is essentially a rectangle, as it has 4 corners, 4 turns, unlike the tricky triangle. But here we come, nonetheless, out of the turn number 3, and down one of 2 short chutes.
Isaiah Sutherland with control of the field coming into turns 3 and 4, and as he works his way behind the iRacing.com pace car, we want to thank all of you for tuning in tonight. Looks like Kendra Wisdom saying thank you, love the support, love supporting Isaiah, and that they're so proud of him. Heather Hochgrev is cheering on the 20. That, of course, the 20 machine. Where is he? Here is the 20 of Diego Rodriguez out of Adrian, Michigan, as he's got the Wolverines paint scheme tonight. But right now, as Isaiah Sutherland hits the Geico restart zone, he gets ready to command this field and see how far he can jump out. Isaiah last came down on lap number 21, the only driver in the top 5 as the green flag flies that has come down pit road more in the top 10. That is Alex Teft and of course also Devin Schwartz. Everybody else on 12-lap old tires, those drivers on 8-lap old tires. So I'm starting to be curious, so to speak, as we see the 20. We're going to ride along with Diego Rodriguez now, doing the Indy stage, as now they get into the transition between 3 and 4. Here we come into turn 3. Here's the transition strip.
And these guys are shifting too.
There's a lot of work to be done here for these cars. And, you know, Diego Rodriguez is literally in the middle of the storm right now, running in 15.
And yeah, Curtis Ecker to his own side there, as he's on the outside. And wow, as we come back out to the wide shot, and they're 3 wide. And look, speaking of AB, there's the Busch Light Peach car and that's the 24 car. I forget his name. Devin Schwartz.
I just realized that I've drank Busch Light before. I drank Busch Light at Dover Motor Speedway.
Only because it's the only thing there, and you were really thirsty.
And it was $5 versus a lemonade that was $7.50. So if you think about it now, the difference there was, you know, a lemonade was $7.50, a beer was $5. So each beer that I drank, I was saving $2.50. So every 2 beers, I basically got another one free for the price of a lemonade.
Pretty much. Pretty much. Right now, though, if you're Isaiah and your last name is Sutherland, you're leading the speeds. Here comes Brandon Wilcox, and he's working the inside. And Stoney Benfield finds himself up in that 3rd position right now. He's in a pretty good spot, and as he alluded to earlier in his interview with Dave, he's actually got a spotter, which he has a spotter on Sunday Night NASCAR also.
Well, and listen, not only that, but, you know, Stoney is the kind of driver where he will be patient and he will work through this race. And, you know, I don't see him making any bad moves so far. And I think he's the kind of driver that we can really start to see making some hay here as we work lap number 37 of 80. And here comes Isaiah Sutherland with a full head of steam getting ready to go down the back chute as he comes out of turn 2. A little rub of the wall for the 65 of Brandon Zimmerman as we work our way down the back stretch. And here comes Zimmerman behind Stoney Benfield, about 0.6 of a second. He's doing his best to get up there, but he's got a lot of gap to cover yet. as Curtis Ecker here in the 19 going to be trailing Zach Lockett in the 93.
Okay, one thing I gotta know about Stoney Benfield. Does he plan his sermons around the NASCAR season and the NASCAR races? I mean, does he write his...
Right now it would be Indy 3880. Chapter 38.
Verse 80.
Bill Skinner.
I'm just kidding.
Skinner back here in running the 9 and 21st position. As Lee Campbell, not related to Lee Greenwood, that's for sure. Here has the mellow. This is kind of a fun one. Check this out. We got the mellow yellow number 14 and the Mountain Dew number 9. It's almost like they knew one another was going to do this tonight.
They call it mellow yellow.
Just do not. I'm trying to court any kind of sponsor we can, and that's not helping. I mean, right now, I would take a sponsorship from Stalin if he offered us enough money. I'm telling you right now, if somebody ever elected me to Congress, I would be the most corrupt SOB on Capitol Hill. And I would wear a fire suit with all of my sponsors on it.
He'd be in the debate doing, what do I do with my hands? I literally do not know what to do with my hands right now.
No, I'd be standing in the debate. If somebody brought something up that I didn't understand, I'd say, yeah, well, screw you. It throws them off, messes them up. Here comes Curtis Ecker in the Coke machine. He slides himself around the 93 of Zach Lockett in a Tennessee Titans Chevrolet Camaro. It's not even football season, but he's thinking it's fall already as now Curtis Ecker works his way past the number 93 of Zach Lockett. We're here on lap number 40. Going to be halfway home this time by as Alex Teft runs in 6th position just ahead of Matt Schlosser and Bryce Hunter as we go on board with Schlosser. He's starting to lose a little ground here on Hunter.
Yeah, and Matt Schlosser there in that number 400 car. But Zach Lockett with the Tennessee Titans scheme, he's probably one of those guys that'll go buy a pumpkin spice latte in August.
You know, I've never had a pumpkin spice anything.
I like pumpkin pie.
Okay, I do like pumpkin pie.
But I gotta put like a half a bottle or a half a tub of Cool Whip on it though.
You mean Cool Whip?
Why are you putting so much emphasis on the H?
What do you mean? I'm just saying Cool Whip.
Oh, good. You know what we have here in St. Louis? We have Vess soda.
What soda?
Vess. V-E-S-S. Vess.
I'll stick with Mellow Yellow. I'm a Coca-Cola products guy. Mellow Yellow it is.
Or you can go to Illinois and drink Ski.
What I really want is this cheer one, which is apparently something in like Tennessee.
Yes.
I want whatever this cheer wine is. I want it.
Well, look, when I go to East Tennessee for my wedding anniversary, I'm going to find whatever drink that Brandon Honeycutt has on his car. And I'm going to give it a try.
Let's take a look here. What's Brandon Honeycutt got in the car? Enough is enough. Dr. Enough.
I'm going to have to try it. Or I'm going to live vicarious through my wife and have her try it. Since I stopped drinking soda a year ago.
You can have one. It'll be fine. I'll look the other way. Let's see what Dr. Enough is as we go to our fine friends over here at Google. It is apparently an energy drink.
Okay.
Dr. Enough since 1949. It is, and it comes in 0 sugar.
Hey.
And it can be delivered via FedEx. About the drink. Let's see here. I don't care about that. I want to know what it tastes like. Smoky Mountain Living Magazine, Dr. Enough memorabilia. Oddly enough, the color scheme on it is kind of Mountain Dew-esque.
Okay.
But I don't know what it... It's apparently rich in vitamins, so you can have some.
Okay. I will. Hey, I will try it and then report back.
I'm looking at it. Wonder how much it is to ship.
Oh no, you're not.
Oh my goodness.
Told you.
Take $1.
That's not bad. I think what we're gonna have to do though, Dave, is we're gonna have to each get some shipped to our house and then do it on the air.
The energy to run, ride, laugh, hang out, skate, shoot hoops, and just live it. To be fair, I do not run. I do not skate or shoot hoops, but I do just live it. It's got carbs, vitamins, and a killer lemon lime taste with thiamine, niacin, potassium iodide, not to mention caffeine.
I like caffeine.
I do like the caffeine.
And I'm with you. I don't run. The only place I run is to the refrigerator.
Well, yeah, it's more like a waddle. This is rather interesting. You know what? I am interested. They have my attention. I can get 12. I can get 12 regular and 12 diet. Or I can just get 12 diet or 24 diet. Can I just do that?
Okay.
Let's get back to the race here. Isaiah Sutherland's starting to have some of his lead erased here by Marshall Harris, as now Harris is just 9/10 of a second behind him. I realize that still seems like a really long way, but he just went from 1.5 seconds to now gaining a second on him, as Schlosser is all over the rear bumper of Brendan Wilcox. Stoney Benfield up here kind of in the catbird seat. He's got Wilcox and Schlosser duking it out behind him. That's going to put some gap between himself and Wilcox, as right now there's 1.06 seconds between Benfield and Wilcox. Marshall Harris on the other side of that equation is 0.6 of a second ahead of Benfield and a second behind Isaiah Sutherland here on lap number 46 of 80. Andrew Teft here in the 98. He's trailing Eric Jensen in the double deuce, and Jensen, of course, started on the outside of row number 1. And now we're starting to see some of these folks move around the racetrack. In fact, the only drivers that haven't changed positions is Aaron Marquis in the 25th position and Isaiah Sutherland leading this race.
Yeah, Isaiah Sutherland. He's doing Isaiah thing. But Eric Jensen down 9 spots, not having the run that he thought he was going to have there in that double deuce, car. Oh, as Kinsley Smith bounces her off the wall there. Look, this track can get you really spread out, but I want to mention something this. Next Tuesday night, we're going dirt racing with the Racers Elite Truck Series, so make sure you tune into that. 120 laps at Eldora. They're going to be banging those trucks off the cushions and banging the boards.
Hey, I'm all about it. I mean, you know, some of these guys that I've seen, you know, especially as I got a chance to call the Cup Series here in Racers Elite last week while I was off from SNN Truck Series action, these guys are good at every level. And I mean, I know that we get paid to be here, but at the same time, I'm not just saying that because they're paying for us to be on the air. I'm saying that because it's the truth. I mean, I love watching these guys run. I mean, right now, we haven't had a caution for a long time. I'm not trying to jinx it, so I'm going to knock on wood right here. But at the same time, you know, I'm watching these guys really get themselves into a good groove. In a fixed setup race like that, you expect to see some really tight racing, but these guys make it a little bit gapped because the skill of some of these drivers, depending on where you are, is that good or that rough. And, you know, it makes for really interesting competition here. And speaking of competition, all of a sudden, as we go on board with Matt Schlosser out of Frederick, Maryland, he's starting to close the gap now behind the Outlier setup shop, nc811.org, number 75 of the faster Pastor Stoney Benfield. And as Schlosser works his way here to the low side of Pastor Benfield, it looks like he's now going to secure away third position for the time being.
They are drag racing down that back straightaway. And Dave, I don't know if you're off for the truck series on Tuesday night, but I always got an open door policy in the booth.
Nope, we have a race this week at IRP.
Nice.
And then I think I have 3 weeks off of Tuesdays.
Hey, look, you gotta love short track racing. Working lap number 50, Matt Schlosser in that number 400 car up 4 spots. Brenda Wilcox will take over that 4th position, and Stoney Benfield will round out your top 5. Here's we are just under 31 to go here in this 80-lap affair.
Yeah, the laps are really starting to melt right now. And I mean, Zach Lockett, who's trying to climb his way up through the standings, he started in 22nd and now has gotten into the top 10 and is getting ready to strap the hairnet on to serve lunch right now to Curtis Ecker in the 19. Here they go side by side. And as they pass window nets, all of a sudden Lockett's going to give a little cute wave here to the 19 and secure away 9th position.
Yeah, I mean, Zach Lockett trying to will the Tennessee Titans car up to the front, and maybe, I don't know, maybe you're just Super Bowl.
Marshall Harris has started to close in now. Or I'm sorry, is starting to have Matt Schlosser close in on him now.
Well, here he comes.
And here comes Schlosser. All of a sudden, it's like he's found a 6th gear in the 400 machine as they go door handle to door handle. And they're ready to get the hammer and tongs out here with 30 to go at Indianapolis Motor Speedway. Dave Regal and Alan Bergen with you here in the Tony Trapasso Memorial Broadcast booth. We want to thank everybody for tuning in this evening. Kendra Wisdom, Heather Hockgreave, and Julia and Rowan Lloyd, they're all active in here. We want to thank all of you for tuning in. And I'll tell you what, we've got quite a good viewership tonight, Alan, as Zach Lockett gets ready to make the pass now on Bryce Hunter.
He can't quite clear Hunter there in that number 9 car. Oh, my word. Here we go. He's going to think back and get in line as the sands at an hourglass are running out for Marshall Harris if he has any chance of being in contention of the race win. But here's the battle right now. Here comes Andrew Tuft going underneath Zach Lockett. And Kadatu is going to slide up. Whoa, Curtis Ecker. Easy there, buddy. Easy, easy, easy. They got a long ways to go. Look out. Look out. Here comes Andrew Tuft up to that 9th position. Zach Lockett up, rounding out your top 5. Here comes Kinsley Smith. And he's looking, oh, here comes Dennis Kane out of nowhere. And he's going to be underneath Curtis Ecker there at number 19.
And here comes Dennis Kane as they go door handle to door handle down the backstretch. Kane here in the 4. He's trying to get up here as they were just side by side. The Zoop and Crane LLC number 4 Dark Horse Ford Mustang now trails Curtis Ecker by less than 0.2 of a second as Ecker gets ready to take another run at him. Kane looks to the inside of Ecker as we're going to go on board right now. And here he comes as we get ready to head on down the back chute once again. They go wheel to wheel, and all of a sudden it's like with literally just the will of muscle, Dennis Kane crosses Curtis Ecker's nose, and now Curtis Ecker has nothing to do but look here at the rear bumper of the 4, and I just missed that one. I want to see what this is here on the back of the 4. And of course, as I zoom in here, it looks like he keeps getting further and further away. Don't strain. Call something. As we get back on board with Curtis Ecker, he's now allowed Diego Rodriguez in the 20 car to pass him. This is kind of an interesting move here on lap number 54 as we turn the tower back on, get the driver information off the screen. Curtis Ecker running in 14th position and starting to melt through his tires. Isaiah Sutherland, on the other hand, just took a 1 second lead and has now turned it into 1.4 seconds over Matt Schlosser, who leads Brandon Wilcox by 9/10 of a second. Stoney Benfield still runs in P2. And now all of a sudden, green flag pit stops underway here at Indianapolis Motor Speedway. 55 laps in the books. This could be the money stop if they can turn this into a one-stop race from here to the end.
Yeah, so lap 55, and we're already seeing green flag pit stops. And we're going to have some kind of fun now.
I'm Dave Regal, and he is Alan Bergen. As we watch Stoney Benfield coming on to pit road, here he goes. As he's going to pull in, obviously going to get 4 tires and a tank of Go Fast. Up goes the right side. And right now, that time is ticking, and he knows that he's got to be able to get through this pit stop as fast as he can. Right now, as he looks, Isaiah Sutherland coming out of turn number 3 and 4. He's got to be considering whether or not he stays out and tries to lap the field. And nope, he changes his mind. And all of a sudden, that's going to bring Isaiah Sutherland down pit road. Now, that kind of changes things the way this is going to be gapped out. Matt Schlosser comes in on lap number 31, stays out to lead a lap. And Kensley Smith, here it is. Kensley Smith, Andrew Teff, Diego Rodriguez, Curtis Ecker, and the faster pastor Stoney Benfield. They all dive off of pit road and get back into line here on lap number 56. Matt Schlosser last came down on 31, along with Kensley Smith, Andrew Teff, Diego Rodriguez, and Curtis Ecker, your top 5. And right now, that can cycle Isaiah Sutherland back to the lead eventually here. But right now, when Schlosser and company come down pit road, that's going to put Brandon Wilcox on the lead with Stoney Benfield running P2. Brandon Wilcox running in 14th. Kensley Smith coming down the front stretch. He's not going to come down pit road with Matt Schlosser and Andrew Teft. As they continue to stay out here on lap number 57, the only thing that they can hope for right now is a caution. It'll be ill-timed for the guys that just went down pit road.
They need one. They need a caution.
But right now they're praying for a caution. They're hoping somebody can be bit by the cold tire bug.
Well, hey, let's get a hold of the faster pastor and see if he can get us the caution.
Listen, I don't want to screw anybody's race up.
57 laps of 80. Look, and we're just a little over 20 laps to go, 23 to go, as we try to do St. Louis math. Wow. But what a race! Kensley Smith finds himself up front. And so does the Outsiders teammate of mine, Diego Rodriguez. Truce Hoke finds himself up in the 4th position as we are cycling pit stops right now. Well, Diego does a little side draft action. He gets up there. Hello.
Kensley Smith leads this piece now. Dave Regal with you here in the Tony Trapasso Memorial Broadcast booth. Diego Rodriguez running P2. Lee Campbell and Truth Hoke. William Skinner running in P5. That's your top 5 as they run right now. And those drivers, they've all got to come down pit road. As Alan and I are sitting here, it just seems like now it's going to be who's going to blink last. Usually we're wondering who's going to blink first, but Diego Rodriguez, he's got nearly 30 laps on these tires, and it's got to be starting to be, a little bit stressful as we're starting to see these guys who have come in recently creeping toward those positions. Isaiah Sutherland, Matt Schlosser, Brandon Wilcox, and Stoney Benfield. Those 4 drivers are going to start replacing some of these other guys who have not come down pit road yet. The question is, are they going to be doing that before they come down pit road or by default when they do come down for service?
It's going to be by default. It's going to have to be.
Well, Diego Rodriguez is trying to control this race right now, and you've got to imagine that his crew chief right now is screaming in his ear to get down and get fuel.
I mean, I know how to make you short circuit though.
Yeah, that's when you stay out for reasons I can't quite understand.
See, look, you're the only one that I know that can crew chief me from the booth.
Yeah, I start screaming. Folks, here's the thing. I love Alan to death. He's a good driver. He's out here trying to get it done week in and week out. But when I see a driver make a boneheaded move, I go from, impartial broadcaster to complete fanboy screaming hysterically because I don't want to see people make dumb decisions. And the king of dumb decisions on the racetrack, actually, there's really a pair of you. It's you and Gangler in Sunday Night NASCAR Cup Series action. Of course, he was our former race controller, so you'd think that he would have a good grasp of when it's time to come in, and he never does. And here comes Diego Rodriguez down pit road as he's going to haul the number 20 Michigan Ford Mustang down here for pit service. He's going to bring along Lee Campbell in the Mellow Yellow machine, Brandon Honeycutt in the Dr. Enough machine, and Skinner in the 9. So here it is, 3 energy drinks in a row. It's going to be Mellow Yellow, Dr. Enough, and Mountain Dew, all 1, 2, 3 as we look from above here, and that's kind of fun. I kind of like the sponsor mix-up here as Paul Shaw going to drive down along with them. While they've got energy drinks, he has a snail on the hood of that Toyota Camry.
Yeah, I mean, you don't want to come speeding down pit road, but how cool would it be to sit in the pagoda? As green flag pit stops have commenced here, that's going to cycle Kirby Wainscott to the lead. Here comes Isaiah Sutherland in that 42 car. Is going to be your second place car with about 13 seconds, and that gap is going to close up pretty quickly. As, Kirby Wainscott gets a little loose off a turn 4 exit there. With 19 laps to go, we got wholesale pit stops. Troy Thomas, you see him on the top right of your screen. He's coming down pit road to get his services.
That's going to put Kirby Wainscott in the number 10 finger-licking good Chevrolet Camaro up into the lead. I don't think it's going to be a very long lead, though, as he's got to be getting tired here. And those tires themselves have to be getting ready to give up the ghost as he hauls it down the backstretch once again now with 19 laps to go. He's not Cal Ripken. He isn't the Iron Man. 21:31 is a long way off for him as he still runs laps here and has not decided when he's going to come down.
Well,
I have
hey,
to imagine, though, he's got to almost be on fumes. Here he comes.
Here he comes. And you can tell he's getting ready for that pit stop because you can see he's going to lock up the tires, making down the pit road. But you can tell that gap is starting to close and close and close and close and close as Colonel Kirby Wainscott comes on down the pit road with that finger-looking good Ford or Chevrolet Camaro.
That's going to cycle Isaiah Sutherland and Matt Slosher back up to the race lead. Stoney Benfield going to be running P4, while Marshall Harris rounds out your top 5. Alex Teft in 6th, and as Kirby sits still, the Teft brothers are now going to go 6th and 7th. And this is kind of unique. We don't get to see them near one another too often. They're not technically near one another. They're separated by about 2.6 seconds as Dennis Kane and Zach Lockett starting to close this battle in. And here we go on board with Zach Lockett as he starts to draw in on Dennis Kane. He hits 5th gear here, and all of a sudden, 3, 2, 1. Get on the binder, slow down, and get that car to rotate.
Yeah, you want to use just a little bit of brake.
Just a little tappy on the slow down pedal.
Yeah, I mean, at least some people know where that's at.
Well, Alan, I know that you have another commitment tonight, so I want to thank you for joining me for a while here in the broadcast booth. Of course, I know you're going over to Road and Plate, but folks, you're going to stay right here. Don't follow Alan just yet, as we still have 17 laps to go here at Indianapolis Motor Speedway. And wow, just as I look away, here comes the battle of the night as all of a sudden Zach Lockett in the 93 starts to draw into the 4. And all just like that, he loses that momentum and opens the door for Diego Rodriguez. Alan, once again, thanks for joining, and I will see you next week as he toddles on off. We want to thank him for his contribution tonight. Of course, he keeps things interesting here in the broadcast booth, and whose stones am I going to break if he's not here? And believe me, folks, Alan Bergen is one of the most dedicated people here at Sim Racing Media. He's really trying to hone his play-by-play craft and, that analyst role that he fills here on the air as he works alongside good old-fashioned number one, yours truly, Dave Regal, here in the Tony Trapasso Memorial Broadcast booth just outside the city of brotherly love, Philadelphia, Pennsylvania. Isaiah Sutherland now leads Matt Schlosser by about 1.4 seconds. The gap to third is 3.84, and Stoney Benfield nearly 7 seconds behind the leader. The only way that these drivers are going to get bunched up again with any kind of hope is going to be for one of those late race cautions. And we're hoping not to see it, but I know that those drivers are in that position. Dennis Kane getting ready to hold off Kensley Smith as they go door handle to door handle down the front stretch as they cross the start-finish line at the bricks. All of a sudden, Dennis Kane gets a run here into turn number one. As we ride just outside of the top 10 here, Dennis Kane now watches Kensley Smith secure away that 10th position for the time being. Diego Rodriguez and Bryce Hunter run 9th and 8th position. Eric Jensen runs way back here in 19th position, but he's trying to close in on Brandon Honeycutt in the 13 Toyota Camry. I want to thank everybody for tuning in, as always, to the youtube.com live chat. As Kendra Wisdom says, a big shout-out for Isaiah from Mom and Dad. Kendra, thank you. Of course, I'm sure that Isaiah is happy that you guys are watching at home. As we zoom in here on the Sutherland Used Cars Chevrolet Camaro, I got to say, I've never been to Sutherland Used Cars. I'd like to check it out now that, I've crossed his path. I'm just not sure exactly where it's located. He doesn't have his SDK information filled in. So anytime now you can tell me where he's from so I can check out Sutherland Used Cars. I encourage everybody to do so. Also, one thing that we want to shamelessly plug, as we usually do those kind of things here on youtube.com for our friends and family in the iRacing.com community. I was reached out today by my good friend Justin Clapper from the Thunderclap Racing Series, and he and I have known each other for a few years. Great Philadelphia Phillies fan. Of course, works in the NASCAR industry. And now I can't get the darn thing to load. Thanks. As I look through my messages here to find this from Justin Clapper. And here it is. We want to encourage everybody to tune into the Luke's Playhouse Wellness Center and Gym 200. It's going to be a charity race and the first annual charity event on Friday, July 26th at Auto Club Speedway. It's going to be the NASCAR Cup cars for 100 laps. It's going to be 100% fuel, fixed setup, and of course race control will be engaged that night. Want to check out featuring the NASCAR stars in that race. It's going to be featuring Caden Honeycutt, Vicente Salas, Daniel Dye, and Nick Lights. And, of course, we want to come out and support the cause and race with NASCAR stars. It's a $5 entry. You can check it out over on Pit Stop TV. Of course, not here on Sim Racing Media, but I'll tell you what, sometimes it matters more that we get, a chance, at least to some degree, to work together. And, iRacing is a giant community. Of course, our idea is always to try to make the world a little bit smaller, and we do as best we can. And quite frankly, I look at it this way: whether it's on a different network or not, we're still raising money and supporting a good cause. So make sure that you head on over there and check that out on Pit Stop TV. As right now we're at 11 laps to go. Isaiah Sutherland and Matt Schlosser up ahead of everybody else, but Sutherland now gapping Schlosser by 1.2 seconds. It's going to be quite a long way before Schlosser can close in on, while Alex Teft is starting to lose ground on Andrew Teft. 0.3 of a second now as we ride on board with Alex. as he chases his brother down. It's like they're in the backyard playing with a couple of super soakers, seeing who's going to come out the victor. And Alex Teff going after the rear bumper of Andrew, and all of a sudden Andrew has just found another gear. No matter how fast they are running down the back chute, 193 miles per hour into turn 3, and Alex still can't catch Andrew Teff. Taking a look here at Diego Rodriguez in the 20 machine, that Michigan Hail to the Victors Ford Mustang. He's now trailing Alex Teft, and Teft maybe being hindered here in his pursuit of his brother Andrew by Diego Rodriguez. I mean, sometimes that initial, catch of air when you get into someone's draft is just enough to almost throw a parachute behind them and slow them down a little bit. That's kind of how side drafting works. Of course, that's when you're taking air off the side of the car, essentially, not necessarily being faster than them, but slowing the leading car down, as we're now 9 laps to go here at Indianapolis Motor Speedway. Isaiah Sutherland leading this piece right now as Alex Teft is starting to close in on Diego Rodriguez. They just went from 900th of a second to 2/10 of a second, so Rodriguez all of a sudden found an extra gear. Maybe he's saving just a little bit of tire here for this final segment of the race with 8 laps to go. Alex Teft now trails Diego Rodriguez by just about a half second. Drivers all over the racetrack, I mean, when they're bunched up, they go single file to keep each other safe and, of course, still competitive. But once you get yourself, gapped out to these times, you're really just kind of trying to hold your ground, even as we look at Kensley Smith closing in on Alex Teft. We go on board here with the Napa Auto Parts onboard camera, as now all of a sudden we see Teft give a little bit of a rub to the wall from the roof here of Smith as he swings it out here out of turn 2 and down the back chute. Now Alex Teft running away. It's like, some of these drivers are able to reel one another in, but suddenly, lose ground on each other. Seems like dear old dad having trouble getting on to Hulu. Hulu, I think, is getting a little bit more, let's just say, secure over the last few weeks, months, maybe about the last year, as suddenly you can't just share passwords with anybody anymore. And I'll tell you what else you can't share: space on the racetrack. If you're Matt Schlosser chasing down Isaiah Sutherland, all of a sudden Sutherland lost his gap that he had, and Schlosser just got right into the rear bumper of Sutherland. And now with 7 laps to go has decided it's time to make a move here. And Sutherland holding off Matt Schlosser as he's trying to make the 42 Chevrolet as wide as possible. Suddenly he can take one car and make it 3 wide. Matt Schlosser trying to get up here and go back-to-back after he picked up the win 2 weeks ago at Pocono. Goes to the high side, he takes a peek up there, he looks to the low side, he can't make it around there. And as we go on board, you can just see exactly what Sutherland's trying to do here with Schlosser in tow. I mean, Schlosser out of Frederick, Maryland, now goes to the high side. He thought he could use the lap car as a pick, and that, of course, is the 10 of Kirby Wainscott. Sutherland wasn't fooled whatsoever as Schlosser thought he could swing out there and use Wainscott as a pick, but could not this time by, as now he looks to the inside and he's going to try to use as much of this corner as he can to sling out here and come down the front stretch. They are duking it out like a couple of kids in the back of the station wagon as we come down the front stretch across the start-finish line. 5 laps to go at Indianapolis Motor Speedway. A rub in the wall from Schlosser. That doesn't affect him too much as he's still within a tenth of a second of Sutherland. He now looks to the inside of Sutherland. He almost goes down here. He tries to use the apron. He now slings to the high side. They're throwing haymakers at one another, and all of a sudden, out comes the chrome horn. Schlosser straps it onto the front of his Ford Mustang, and now he gets ready to use that chrome horn on the rear bumper of Isaiah Sutherland. Looking to the inside is Matt Schlosser. They draw nearly dead even with 4 laps to go. They're wheel to wheel coming down the backstretch, and as they go into the transition between 3 and 4, they still won't come apart from one another. Schlosser has a good arrow hold on that left rear quarter panel, and it kind of loosens up Sutherland for a moment as they come down the front stretch, crossing the bricks. It's 3 laps to go. Sutherland trying to break up the draft between himself and Schlosser not having it, as he is all over him like white on rice coming down the transition between 1 and 2. He peeks to the inside again, trying to make it work. He can't do it this time. Will he be able to do it down the backstretch? All of a sudden, Sutherland gaps him by 0.3 of a second. What a run. He might have finally broken up that draft. As we look here, Sutherland now out to a 4-second lead over Matt Schlosser. Barring a caution, this is how it's going to end up. If Schlosser doesn't take another run here, we come through the 3-4 complex, and as they come out of turn 3 and into 4, Matt Schlosser trailing Isaiah Sutherland by now 0.5 second onto the front stretch. They come past the entrance to pit road, cross the start-finish line. The popsicle sticks go in the air. We're 2 laps to go. Isaiah Sutherland has been dominant all night here at Indianapolis Motor Speedway. He's still trying to hold off Schlosser, who thinks he's got 1 fight left in him, as he now tries to close the gap. It was just a 0.5 second. He's now drawn into about 0.3 of a second with now just about a lap and a half and then some to go. Isaiah Sutherland holding off Matt Schlosser in the 400. Brendan Wilcox trails him by 4.3 seconds. Stoney Benfield is in 4th and Marshall Harris in 5th. Isaiah Sutherland comes down the front stretch. He can see the start-finish line. Matt Schlosser trying to drill his way up there. The white flag's in the air. The popsicle sticks go down, and we're racing back to checkers. Isaiah Sutherland has been showing everybody his rear bumper tonight as he turns laps here at Indianapolis Motor Speedway. Matt Schlosser tried to draw in close to him here on these final laps, but can't get it done, as now he looks to the high side, the low side. Where can he get around? The moment that those bumpers come apart, it's almost like a giant parachute comes out behind the 400. Riding on board now is Schlosser through the final 2 turns of this race. Schlosser trying to make a move here. He looks to the inside. He's trying to cut him off. He can't do it. He catches the grass and gets tight. All of a sudden, Schlosser knows that he's beat. Schlosser has to just kind of watch Sutherland to go away. Isaiah Sutherland on the front stretch at Indianapolis Motor Speedway captures the checkered flag here in the Racers Elite Cup Series at Indianapolis Motor Speedway. Isaiah Sutherland is followed on the podium by Matt Schlosser and Brendan Wilcox, while Stoney Benfield, the faster pastor, and Marshall Harris round out your top 5. Diego Rodriguez, Andrew Teft, Dennis Kane, Kensley Smith, and Alex Teft round out your top 10. And these drivers tonight have put on one heck of a run here at IMS. Getting ready to do our driver interviews here as we pull up these 3 drivers on the podium. Just trying to get ourselves a hold of Matt Schlosser. And here the 3 of them are. And first up here on the podium tonight going to be our race winner, Isaiah Sutherland. Isaiah, it's Dave Regal up in the broadcast booth. You got a copy?
Before I got you.
Man, what a run you had tonight. You were dominant. I mean, listen, Schlosser thought that he had you for a short period of time but couldn't hold it together, and you just showed him the rear bumper the entire final segment of this race. How does that feel as you do donuts right there on the bricks tonight?
Yeah, my heart's about to fall out of my chest there. Matt did a wonderful job. You know, he snuck up there at the end. I think he had a lap fresher tires than me. I don't know if that's really what mattered. I kind of burned him off there at the end, just trying to run the laps down and catch up to the people that were pitting after me. And all of a sudden, I look in my rearview mirror and we're matching lap times, and then he started gaining on me. So he had a little secret, or his fresher tires helped him, but he did a wonderful job, and it's all I could do to keep him behind me. I mean, he kept it clean. He bumped me a couple of times, but I had to take that air away from him. Awesome battle.
Yeah, man. I mean, listen, you held your ground in fine fashion. I mean, you know, most people would have had some kind of a mistake, but you managed to hold it together. We had a great green flag run at the end of this race, some green flag pit stops. That's got to be a pretty good feeling as a driver, especially when you pick up the first win of the season here at Indianapolis Motor Speedway.
Yeah, I mean, it's awesome to have green flag runs, especially at a track like this where it's real technical. It's a lot of fun. I've always liked Indy. I've always liked watching them race at Indy, no matter what they're in, especially the Cup cars. And it's pretty cool when we get a green flag run and we can just see how it all plays out. And as you can see, it was a total surprise. I mean, again, Matt just shocked me the way he was running me down there. I was thoroughly impressed by his speed there at the end.
Yeah, man, it was an impressive run altogether. And before we cut you loose tonight, who do you need to thank and who helps you get it done on the 42 car?
Well, yeah, I mean, none of this matters without my Lord and Savior Jesus Christ, so I've always got to give him the biggest praise and shout out first and foremost. I always got to shout out my mom and dad. They tune in and watch, and my family, no matter where I'm racing, what league I'm in, they're always checking in and watching. So shout out to all my family, Uncle Gary, my parents, and my girlfriend, or my fiance, Dalen. She always watches the races as well. Yep, that was very recent. That was like 2 weeks ago. So.
Oh, it's still fresh. Listen, give him a break.
Yeah, still fresh. And everyone in the league, I mean, this is the first time I've raced with everyone, but it was a pretty clean race. Everyone kept it together pretty well, other than a handful of cautions that we had. Sponsors on my car, Sutherland Used Cars. Look them up on Facebook. That's located in Northwest Tennessee. It's a used car dealership. And then Virtual Academy. That's online police officer training. You can sign up, $69 a year, at subscriptions.virtualacademy.com/sign up. And you as well in the booth. You guys do a wonderful job from what I've seen.
All right, man, thank you. Listen, we appreciate the kind words. Good luck, and we'll see you next week.
10-4, we'll see you then.
That, of course, the voice of your race winner, Isaiah Sutherland, driver the number 42, Sutherland Used Cars Chevrolet Camaro. He did a fantastic job dominating this race tonight, and we cannot be more proud of that young man. But next, and certainly not least, on the podium, going to be driver of the number 400, Matt Schlosser. Hey, Matt, it's Dave up in the booth. You got me?
Hey, Dave, how you doing?
Buddy, I'm good. I mean, listen, you gave everything you had here. I mean, you know, you could never say that you didn't leave it all out on the field going after Sutherland here at the end of this piece. I know that it kind of sucks to be the bridesmaid tonight, but wow, what a battle you had.
Yeah, it was a lot of fun, and congrats to Isaiah for the win. You know, he did a really good job defending. We had a really good, clean battle, and you know, Indianapolis it's tough to pass, and you know, I wish I had a couple more laps to kind of try some more attempts. You know, like it's just a tough place to try to pull off a move, and Even if I passed him, he's right there in the draft. He's right there with me. It's it's a really fun place to race, but also tough to pass when you're kind of even. So it was a fun race, and yeah, congrats again to him.
Well, man, listen, you couldn't go back-to-back after your win at Pocono, but this week you still finished second. Before we cut you loose, who do you need to thank and who helps you get it done on the 400?
Yeah. Shout out to my sponsor, Old Mother Brewing Company, and shout out to the league, admins, Andrew, and all the other guys who help out with the league. And shout out as always to SRM for the great broadcasts. And yeah, that's pretty much it.
Hey, man, we appreciate you. It's only a great broadcast because there's great drivers to watch here. So congrats, and we will see you next week.
All right. Sounds good. See you next time.
That the voice of Matt Schlosser, driver the number 400. And finally, on our podium tonight, rounding things out here in the top three is Brendan Wilcox, driver the number 26 Chevrolet Camaro. Hey, Brendan, it's Dave up in the booth. You got me?
Hey, what's going on?
Man, you guys are what's going on. You tried to give it your all. I mean, tonight you qualify P4, you finish on the podium in third. I mean, that's a tough battle that you had to work out tonight. And sometimes the cautions help because they keep the race closer. But tonight, I mean, things just got more strung out than a line at a meth clinic.
Yeah, I mean, those two guys were super quick. I think that's kind of where I hurt myself on those restarts, kind of trying to overdrive because I knew how fast those guys were. But I'll take a P3, though. Feel pretty good about it.
Yeah, I mean, P3 is still nothing to sneeze at, especially when every point matters in this league, especially, as we head toward the playoffs later on in the season, and getting yourself in gear right now at this stage in the year is absolutely key. And, you had a hard-fought battle tonight. Before we cut you loose, who do you need to thank and who do you need to shout out tonight? Who helps you get it done on the 26?
I think my friends. I think buddy Will Skinner. He was racing with us tonight. Him and I spent a lot of time together racing, kind of pushing each other to do better. But yeah, and then obviously my parents for let me take up a room for the sim rig and spend some time racing.
All right, man. Well, listen, congratulations once again, and we'll see you next week.
All right, thanks a lot.
Well, folks, another one in the books here at Indianapolis Motor Speedway. We want to thank all of our drivers for doing such a great job keeping it as clean as humanly possible tonight. It's an incredible night when you get to sit there and watch these guys go at it, and this league is just among the best when it comes to competitive edge. And in a fixed setup, I know that that's really tough for some of these guys to get through. Before we get out of here, we want to take one final look at our results for the evening. Isaiah Sutherland captures the checkered flag, and he's followed on the podium by Matt Schlosser and Brendan Wilcox. Stoney Benfield and Marshall Harris round out your top five, while Diego Rodriguez and Andrew Teft come home in 6th and 7th. 8th position goes to Dennis Kane, while Kensley Smith and Alex Teft make up the rest of your top 10. 11th place honors go to Bryce Hunter, while Curtis Ecker finishes 12th. 13th is Zach Lockett, while Lee Campbell comes home in 14th. 15th is Truth Hoke with James Malloy in 16th. Brandon Honeycutt in 17th with William Skinner in 18th position. Brandon Zimmerman finished 19th, while Devin Schwartz finished in 20th position. Paul Shaw comes home in 21st, while Kirby Wainscott gets finger-licking good into the 22 spot with Eric Jensen in 23rd. Troy Thomas and Aaron Marquis finished 24th and 25th, while Seth Horsley and Brandon Sanfilippo round out the rest of your field in 26th and 27th. Unfortunately, you can't win them all, and sometimes you got to finish last. And unfortunately tonight, gentlemen, that goes to you. But folks, who's first in our hearts tonight right here is the Racers Elite Cup Series. We want to thank you for tuning in. Now you can go head over to Alan Bergen, who's covering Road and Plate tonight. So for myself, Dave Regal, Alan Bergen, and everybody here at Sim Racing Media, I want to thank you for tuning in tonight, making us a part of your evening. Thank you for welcoming us into your homes, onto your phones, wherever you may be and however you may be listening. And tomorrow and every day as you walk down the road of life, please don't play in traffic. Good night, everybody.